Why does making friends as an adult feel so
What
hard?
should I wear on a first
What the
date?
hell is a 401?
But that
Why
hookup
is
was
buying my
not
first
good.
home
So
What do I want my
frustrating.
life to look like in 5 years?
We want to know too.
Since 2012, the Everygirl has been an online destination to help women around the world achieve the life of their dreams. Now, we're excited to bring you the same inspiring content with the Everygirl podcast.
Hello, my girls. Welcome back to the Everygirl podcast. Happy start of a new month. Do you guys feel like a new will to live when it's finally April? So, a trend, I guess you could call it, that I have been loving is the rise in what TikTok is calling cool girl hobbies. Think making charm jewelry or having a book club, like very cool, chic, fun activities to tap into your creative side or to do something fun with your friends that's not going out to a restaurant for the 12th time this month. Why I love this trend is not just because the TikToks are so aesthetic and gorgeous and Nancy Meyers-esque, but because I love this idea that we are reclaiming our time. We're being intentional about the way that we want to live our lives. Most of you grew up like I did in deep hustle culture. Like The Devil Wears Prada was my favorite movie too. Okay, we have been so programmed to be productive 24/7, and all of our time had to be dedicated to either work, checking things off the to-do list like we're supposed to do, like working out, cleaning the kitchen, or maintaining just enough of a social life that we don't feel like losers, but still can work most nights and weekends if we need to. I think this, quote, cool girl hobby thing is more than just a trend, but a reclaiming of our own time and making the intentional decision to prioritize joy. I think a lot of us are healing from toxic productivity, and hobbies are an effective way to remind ourselves that we deserve a life that is just for us, filled with things that we do because we enjoy them, not because it will make us money. And if you have not found your hobby yet, or you want to add more hobbies into your life, I'm going to share 9 cool girl hobbies that are not only enjoyable, but will also drastically improve your life. I think all of these hobbies are insanely fun, but you will also see an instant and major glow up in your life because of them. I think we should be talking about these activities a lot more than we are. I'm also going to share the benefits behind them and some tips to get started. I first just want to say that having a hobby, period, can drastically improve your life as long as you enjoy it. A hobby of any kind has been shown to have an amazing impact on your mental and physical well-being. There was a 2023 study that looked at almost 100,000 individuals across 16 countries and found that across the board, people who engaged in hobbies reported better health, greater happiness, and higher life satisfaction compared to those without hobbies. So just having a hobby can improve your life. But the way that I look at it is like there are so many hobbies that are insanely enjoyable and make your life better, but as a byproduct, they have extraordinary benefits that will hugely impact your life, kind of like glow up hobbies, if you will. And I'm going to share them with you today. So let's dive into it. The first cool girl hobby that will drastically improve your life is ballet. I've talked a little bit before about getting back into dance classes, and it has truly become the highlight of my week. Every week that I go, I feel like a kid again. It reminded me, like, I cannot believe that I suffer through these other exercise classes when I can move my body in this way that feels like pure joy. It doesn't even feel like exercise. And ballet is becoming the new Pilates, where it's like the it girl workout. And it has some amazing benefits. First of all, ballet may look pretty, but any dancer knows that ballet is tough as shit. Steve McClendon, who was a Steelers football player, picked up ballet and told a newspaper, "It's harder than anything that I do." And that's coming from an NFL player. So it's really fun and you feel all girly and pretty, but it truly works every single muscle and provides you with the most amazing workout while you're enjoying yourself. In addition to all the regular benefits of moving your body, like stress relief and cardiovascular health and muscular health, ballet also works skeletal strength, muscular flexibility, and pelvic floor strength for benefits such as improved posture, core strength, and sexual health. Posture is actually a huge focus of mine right now. I feel like I need to do a whole other episode on why posture is the key to glowing up. Like, it deserves so much more attention than we give it. We know how different you feel and look when you have proper posture instead of being slouched over. But proper posture also affects like the structure of your face. Poor posture, especially kind of like forward head posture, which we also call tech neck, creates the appearance of a double chin and weakens jawline definition. Your posture can also impact how efficiently you process food to improve digestion. Like, I need to do a whole episode on this so I can dive into it further, but that's a huge benefit of ballet is it really works every postural muscle, unlike most other workouts do. I've been seeing more and more studios pop up that have ballet classes for regular people, I guess, like for beginners that want to take it just for fun, not to become the next Misty Copeland as much as I wish that I could be. So there may be some classes already available in your area or popping up. Like I said, I really feel like ballet is going to be the next Pilates, so there will be more and more IRL classes popping up all over. You can also try an online fitness platform like Ballet Beautiful that streams ballet-inspired workout classes, or just YouTube a ballet workout. Amazon yourself some cute little ballet shoes, a little leotard if you want to get more into it. Like, how freaking cute. The next cool girl hobby is gardening because it's Martha Stewart season, guys. Like, just imagine spending your Sunday gardening outside or tending to an indoor herb garden from the comfort of your own city apartment where you have zero exposure to any tree, like not even a leaf is in sight. You can grow your own herbs or fruit and veggies. Like, you would be the coolest. And let's be honest, now that the price of groceries is just going up and up, why not grow your own groceries where you can, you know? But here's the amazing thing about gardening, because there are insane benefits beyond just getting to eat the food that you're gardening. A 2020 study published in Landscape and Urban Planning found that gardening supports high emotional well-being, including the feelings of happiness and purpose. Likewise, a 2021 survey demonstrated that gardening at least 2 to 3 times a week is associated with higher levels of overall well-being. Working with plants has been shown to help lower blood pressure and reduce anxiety. If you do have a yard or balcony big enough for some potted plants, the bacteria from soil that you get exposed to when gardening can help improve gut health and produce more serotonin, the happy hormone. I have always wanted to be Meryl Streep, and it's complicated when she's picking vegetables out of her garden with her chic, floppy, wide brim hat. Like, I want that life. I don't have that yard or any yard, but an indoor herb garden is a really fun way to start this hobby no matter where you live. And also, if you do have a big balcony space or a small outdoor patio or something, did you know that you can grow tomatoes, lemons, green onions, peppers, like so many fruits or veggies or herbs in pots? So that's some food for thought. Pun intended. Another food-related hobby, because are they not the best, is making sourdough. I know you are probably sick of hearing about sourdough because everyone and their mother was baking sourdough during COVID, and I feel like sourdough baking is honestly a cult. It's giving cult-like behavior at this point, but I get the hype because of how freaking delicious fresh bread is, how expensive sourdough loaves are becoming, and how easy it actually is to make once you get into it. Homemade sourdough bread is an amazing health food. The natural fermentation breaks down gluten, making it easier on the gut compared to regular bread, and the lactic acid bacteria in sourdough that gives it that flavor helps pre-digest the starches, which can help reduce bloating and digestive discomfort. It can also help if you do have a gluten sensitivity. This might be the one bread that your body actually can process a little bit better. Because of the fermentation, sourdough also contains probiotics for gut health. Sourdough has a lower glycemic index than white or whole wheat bread, meaning it causes a slower rise in blood sugar. And it contains higher amounts of B vitamins and minerals like iron, magnesium, and zinc more than regular bread. And because of the phytic acid, your body also better absorbs these nutrients. There's also some studies that suggest sourdough may help lower inflammation. Like, sourdough is truly a superfood, and the baking process actually has benefits itself. This is so interesting. The act of kneading dough can quiet your nervous system. Like the whole process from start to finish of baking sourdough bread is a slow, mindful practice that requires patience, which is so beneficial for your mental health. I have been really wanting to get started on my sourdough bread journey, and I'm so inspired. I want to start so we can all start together. Like, just imagine not spending $12 for a loaf, and you have the most delicious, warm, fresh out the oven, fluffy bread that can also help improve your gut health. And it serves as a mindfulness practice and a super fun hobby. Like, we could be the girls that bring a sourdough loaf as a hostess gift to dinner parties. If you don't love sourdough or that seems too complicated, another hobby you can try is simply to DIY other items that you use on a daily basis. Not only does this save you a lot of money, but the items will likely be a lot healthier. Think like DIYing your own nut milk that you know is literally just almonds, water, maybe some vanilla or a date for flavor. Instead of paying $7 for an almond milk full of gums and other thickening agents or added sugar, or you can fresh squeeze your own orange juice for a much fresher, more delicious juice instead of the store-bought carton that may contain added sugar. Why this counts as a hobby instead of just a trad wife TikTok trend is because the process of creation can be incredibly fulfilling and enjoyable. There's a lot of research around something called the self-creation effect. That basically means when people make their own product, they appreciate it more, are likely to consume it more mindfully, and they experience greater overall happiness than if they were to just purchase the same product from the store. So basically, it's not just about the product itself, but the experience of making the product. And you don't have to become Nara Smith overnight and DIY your own Cheetos. Just pick one thing that you consume regularly. Maybe it's something that you spend typically a lot of money on that you can make your own. If you need some inspo or ideas, I stumbled upon a creator on TikTok. Her name is Plant Based Baby, and she makes her own all-purpose cleaner that costs her 37 cents to make a bottle. She DIYs ranch dressing or dip. You can also make your own peanut butter or hummus very easily. You can make your own ketchup. Like the world really is your oyster. It is actually a lot easier than you may think to create your go-to salad dressing or almond milk or nut butter or even like a body scrub. There are so many things you can make yourself. So start with one item and it'll save you a lot of money and time. It'll be a healthier option, and thanks to the self-creation effect, you also can get a better fulfillment of life from it. The fifth hobby I'm going to share with you today is a racket sport like pickleball or tennis. I love that pickleball has become super popular again, and the tennis aesthetic is so chic. So obviously this is peak cool girl hobby, especially come summertime. And besides being really fun and also very cute, read tennis skirts, it can also really improve your life. Research related to the blue zones shows that racket sports are one of the best forms of exercise for longevity. Findings from research done in 2018 and 2022 show that participants who frequently played racket sports, specifically tennis, badminton, and pickleball, had greater life expectancy than those who regularly did other activities like running, cycling, or swimming. Here's the reason why. Racket sports engage multiple muscle groups, which promotes overall muscular strength, flexibility, and coordination. And because of that quick side-to-side movements and the swinging and all the things that your body is doing while it's playing a racket sport, this is also improving core stability, agility, and mobility. They're also very low impact, which means they won't overly spike cortisol, and multiple different studies have shown that participants who regularly engaged in high-intensity exercise like intense cardio had slightly higher mortality risk than those who did low impact. And low impact has also been shown to be super effective for weight loss as well, if that's your goal. And then what I think is the biggest benefit and the greatest factor in why racket sports are so healthy for you is that you cannot physically play tennis or pickleball alone. The social benefits are actually a huge reason why racket sports are often associated with longevity over other sports like running or contact sports. If you've listened to our other episodes, you've heard me talk about why community is the most important factor of health. Here's a little refresh on how. A 2010 study conducted by a professor of psychology and neuroscience Dr. Julianne Holt-Lundstad, found that loneliness or having weak social ties were linked to a higher risk of mortality comparable to the effects of smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Basically, being lonely is just as bad for your health as chain smoking. Follow-up studies done in 2015 and 2017 confirmed that loneliness and social isolation increased the risk of early death potentially more than other well-known risk factors like obesity and physical inactivity. So loneliness affects your health more than obesity or not getting exercise. But it's not only just that loneliness can negatively affect your health, but that connection can be miraculous for your health. That same 2010 study found that strong social connections lowered your risk of mortality by 50%, 50. Another study I love to talk about is the Rosetto effect. In the 1960s, medical researchers noticed that the population in this small town called Rosetto, Pennsylvania, had a very low incidence, strikingly low, of heart attacks and cardiovascular disease, despite following diets high in saturated fats and cholesterol, which was similar to their neighboring towns. They ate a lot of fried food, did not live very active lifestyles. So researchers were like, what the heck? They were very perplexed why this town had such low rates of heart disease and heart attacks. Rosetto also had significantly lower mortality rates compared to the national average. So they did all this research. Basically, the researchers eventually found that what was so different about Rosetto was that they had dominant social factors. There were daily and weekly social gatherings and really strong communal activities built into the culture. And then here's the sad part. Over time, as Rosetto became more assimilated into American culture and lost some of its close-knit communal nature, the protective health benefits disappeared. By the 1980s, heart disease rates in Rosetto were similar to the rest of the United States. But that just further proves the impact that community has on your health. So picking up a racket sport with your friends not only provides you with the physical health benefits from the exercise, but it builds a deeper connection and community, which I promise will have a much more drastic impact on your life than watching Netflix at home alone or going to the gym to exercise. Picture this. Your alarm goes off in the morning and you reach for your phone to scroll through TikTok before getting out of bed. You play a YouTube video or an episode of the Everygirl podcast while you get ready for the day. You work for hours on your computer before taking a lunch break where you inevitably watch Instagram stories while you eat, and then you're back to your laptop. After you're done working, you make dinner and put on the new episode of Summer House or rewatch New Girl for the 1,000th time. Most of us are straining our eyes all day long. Because of how heavily we rely on screens, our blue light exposure has skyrocketed over the past few decades. Prolonged exposure to blue light can lead to digital eye strain, dry eyes, blurred vision, and headaches, and can impact our focus and concentration, sleep quality, and energy levels. And most of us are being exposed to blue light nearly all day until we shut our eyes at night. Lutein and zeaxanthin are naturally occurring antioxidants that help maintain eye health. Research has shown that they work effectively against blue light to help promote eye and brain health. You can find these nutrients in many convenient supplements in addition to foods like certain fruits or vegetables or even egg yolks. So whether you like to take a pill and just not think about it, or you're a gummy vitamin kind of girl, you can find more information at www.lutamax.com/LFEA and find a high-quality lutein and zeaxanthin supplement to promote eye health at lutamax.com/where-to-buy. Find the links in the show description below. The sixth cool girl hobby that will drastically improve your life is learning a new language. Okay, so this one is cool because obviously your life will be improved if you know how to speak Spanish, or you can go to Paris and speak French to the waiter. And it's a fun hobby too, especially if you are where I am in life and you're daydreaming about moving out of the US, knowing the terrifying state that we are in right now. It is my form of escapism at the moment. Thank you very much. But learning a new language can also have a lot of positive effects on your brain. Learning a new language has been shown to improve your brain health, affecting cognitive well-being and emotional intelligence. This is really crazy. A study in cerebral cortex discovered that people who speak 2 languages have more gray matter in the brain, which is the part of the brain that processes sensation, perception, voluntary movement, learning, cognition, speech. The study found that people who spoke 2 languages had better short term memory, better problem solving skills, and they had a better attention span compared to those who only spoke 1 language. Learning and speaking another language can also help preserve your brain's white matter, which is the part of the brain responsible for helping you process information quickly. So while you learn a new language, you can also improve your memory, creativity, emotional intelligence, like all these things that you will also be able to apply to work skills, to your relationships, like so many crucial ways that this can impact your life, which is really cool. You obviously can find classes at your local community college, or I've had this app called Preply screenshotted for months because I want to get back into relearning all the French that I've lost over the years. This app, Preply, Preply, matches you with a language tutor for literally whatever your budget is. It could be as little as $5 to $10 an hour. And because you're meeting with a real life person, you will also get the benefits of that social connection, which, like, I will take wherever I can get it. But also just watching foreign films with the subtitles on and trying to pick up words, that can also make a difference too and be a fun part of this hobby. Hobby number 7, you're going to have to hear me out. It's crocheting or knitting. I know that this is what your grandma did on car trips or while watching TV with your grandpa, but cool girls are obsessed with this hobby. And instead of scarves or baby blankets, they're crocheting bikini tops and embroidering a Diet Coke onto a throw pillow. Also, grandmas are cool girls too, okay? They are the original cool girls. So obviously this is really fun because you can get a cool item to wear or put around your house, or you can DIY gifts for friends. But this is actually an amazing hack for my girls who cannot get into meditation. Many studies have shown that knitting, crocheting, or embroidering, like doing that stitching with your hands, can mimic the act of meditation and give you similar benefits. A 2013 study found that there was a significant relationship between knitting and feelings of calmness, happiness, and higher cognitive functioning. Knitting has the same effect as meditation because it engages the brain in a repetitive, rhythmic motion, and this repetition is what helps calm the nervous system and reduces stress to promote relaxation and mindfulness. Just like in meditation, you have to focus on the present moment in order to count the stitches or follow a pattern, so you're actively practicing mindfulness. Knitting or crocheting also really gets you in a flow state where you're so immersed in an activity that you can just lose track of time, just like meditation. So this hobby is essentially a moving meditation, engaging the mind just enough to keep it from overthinking while providing a soothing, repetitive rhythm. There are so many cool girl knitting and crocheting and embroidery guides on TikTok now, so look up some tutorials, order some kits or patterns online. I've seen previous Everygirl podcast guest, Kenzie Elizabeth, share the embroidery patterns that she uses, so there are so many options. But this is a fun one if you want to be really creative, you want something to do with your hands, maybe when you're watching TV at night, and you also want to reap some of the health benefits. Hobby number 8 is making vision boards. I love a good vision board. And yes, this could actually be your hobby rather than just something you do around New Year's. So much of self-improvement is about what you need to stop or change or get rid of, while a vision board is only about getting inspired and acknowledging all of the incredible possibilities in your life. I love them because a vision board is intended to just make you feel confident and inspired in your life, not shameful for all you have to change about yourself. And it could be a really great hobby because it taps into your creative side while also bringing in elements of manifestation and redefining what's possible for you or getting clarity on the kind of life you actually want to live. So here's how making vision boards can change your life. Vision boards do something called priming the mind, which essentially is when exposure to certain stimulus affects how you act toward whatever comes next. So basically, by compiling all the images and words that represent the reality you want to create and viewing them on a daily basis, You keep your dream life at the forefront of your mind, which helps you stay focused and motivated to do what you need to do to actually achieve it. You can make a vision board the old-fashioned way with posters and magazine cutouts to create a collage, or you can create vision boards virtually on Pinterest or use an app like Canva to pull images from online onto one board you can print out or turn into the wallpaper on your phone. And I recommend fighting the urge to make it perfect. Seriously. The photos do not have to be flawlessly organized on a grid. It doesn't have to be one color scheme. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone other than yourself. This is purely about tailoring the images to your desires and dreams and the life that would make you the happiest. To make it a hobby, you can make vision boards consistently. You can do a mini vision board every week, like spend Sunday evenings creating a vision board for your upcoming week, or every month, like creating an April vision board. You can also make various vision boards for specific goals or categories of your life, like a vision board for that one dream job you're working for, or a vision board for getting a raise, or having a more fulfilling friend group. If you're trying to heal your gut, you can literally make a vision board for a healthy gut to remind you of what it would feel like to have no symptoms and to feel really healthy, how someone with a healthy gut lives. If you do want to do vision boards for specific goals, the key is to get really specific, which is where sourcing images online can be really beneficial. Like, think about the details. What city do you want to live in? What type of self-care do you want to be a daily ritual in your life? Is your healthiest, best self doing cozy cardio, or are they going on hot girl walks every morning at 7 a.m.? Is your dream job working from home or in an office? Think about all the various details for each category or goal that you're vision boarding for. This is also a fun hobby you can do socially. Invite your friends over every first Friday of the month for a vision board party where you all bring a bunch of old magazines or print out a bunch of images from Pinterest, open a bottle of wine. Like, it can be a really fun hobby that you can do solo or with friends that will actually allow you to prime the mind to increase your motivation and inspiration so that you can actually work toward your goals. The last hobby I'm going to share with you today is reading, which I know is nothing groundbreaking, but I believe it's a lot more powerful and enjoyable of a hobby than we give it credit for. And I'm going to explain why it will drastically improve your life. Reading is truly the greatest life hack. We can learn anything, learn the cheat code for any goal, learn about anyone's story or career or life, and then apply all of these incredible things that we've learned to our own lives. Obviously, reading self-help books can be life-changing. I love books on manifestation like Manifest by Roxy Nafousi, any of Dr. Joe Dispenza's books. I know people love Atomic Habits if you want to break or create new habits. So much of the knowledge that I have about health comes from reading, and so much of the healing that I've done for my body has also come from the knowledge that I've learned from books like Elisa Vitti's Woman Code or Dr. Christy Northrup's Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom, Dr. Mindy Peltz's How to Fast Like a Girl. These were all some of the books that completely changed my life because I was able to heal my body from hormonal symptoms and change my relationship with my body. But also, reading beyond self-help books can drastically improve your life too. For a few years, I think especially post-college, I finished a degree in English. I was having a moment of only reading self-improvement nonfiction. Like, I think I got a little burnt out from reading so much for my degree and was in a very toxic productivity phase where I thought that everything I did had to have a purpose and be purely for the goal of self-improvement. So I was reading only these self-help books or health books, which, again, I love and highly recommend. But starting at the beginning of last year, I got really into non-self-helpy books. One of my favorite genres is celebrity memoirs, especially from different generations. Like, I loved Jane Fonda's memoir. I also recently finished Ina Garten's memoir, Be Ready When the Luck Happens. Highly recommend that book. It was literally like watching a Nancy Meyers movie, but obviously in book form. I love biographies like Once Upon a Time, The Captivating Life of Carolyn Bessette Kennedy. So whether it's memoirs or biographies, I am so fascinated in finding out how successful women become who they are and learning their stories. I swear I learn more from these books than I do from self-help books. It can also really teach us so much about history and understanding cultural context, which I think has expanded my mind in such an important way. Guess what? Education instills empathy. I also love books about old Hollywood. I read Capote's Women last year. Loved that book. I have read many Marilyn Monroe biographies. I also love fiction. Recent ones that I've read and really changed my perspective or made me think are City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert and The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. And then some of my favorite books of all time are more like essays. Tiny Beautiful Things, Advice on Love and Life from Dear Sugar, which is by Cheryl Strayed, or any of Glennon Doyle's books like Untamed or Love Warrior. These books left such a major impact on me and really changed my perspective and the way that I look at life. I'm telling you, reading is the greatest life hack of all time. Reading has also noticeably decreased my anxiety. While I love my regular therapy sessions and affirmations and meditations and all the things that we do to quiet the mind, I noticed such a huge shift in my anxiety when I got a library card and I started to read more. It's not like I'm reading books on how to have less anxiety. Reading in itself can be a calming activity, especially when it's replacing activities like binging TV that may stimulate you. But I think that there's something to be said about getting outside of yourself. Reading allows us to tap into other stories, other worlds, other cultures, other opinions, meaning we get to be out of our minds and into our imagination. I also think this is why reading helps us be more empathetic. And empathy is such a key to our own happiness. It's an antidote to anxiety, to burnout, to stress. So for me, reading seems to, even subconsciously, help me forget about anxieties and put my worries into context and expand my empathy, which I think improves my mental health. If you're sitting here thinking right now, I don't have time to read, what I have found helpful is actually setting it as a goal for myself. Like I read every night before bed, even if I make the goal of I'm going to read one chapter or I'm going to read 10 pages. Or you can try just replacing other habits with reading. Like if you typically scroll on your phone for 5 minutes after waking up, instead just read in your bed for 5 minutes before starting your day. I also try to save weekend mornings for reading, and it is heaven. I make myself breakfast, or Joey and I walk to get coffee, and then I cuddle up with Louie on the couch and read for as long as I can. If you're in the habit of watching TV every night after work, you know I love my Bravo Fridays and catching up on all my shows, so I'm not saying you have to replace your TV every night. But even one day a week reading instead of watching TV can make a major difference in so many ways. So those are 9 hobbies that will drastically improve your life, but I also want to add that it is so important to do something with absolutely no end goal or purpose beyond the fact that you enjoy it. Maybe have a hobby that you're not doing because it will drastically improve your life, but just because you'll have fun. A huge priority for me right now is joy as the end goal, like doing more on a daily basis in my life that is not for my health or self-improvement or to make more money, but just because I love it. Like, for example, I used to spend every morning playing a podcast while I get ready or listening to a self-improvement podcast in the car. Lately, instead, I've been shuffling ABBA songs because it just makes me happy. Like, there is no end goal to it. I'm just enjoying it. But also keep listening to the Everygirl podcast. But maybe take some breaks and play music that just makes you happy. Or even in the way that I view reading, like I talked about, I used to only read books that I felt like I could learn from. And now I'm leaning more into reading books purely for the sake of enjoyment. Joy as the one and only end goal is super important, and I want us all to remember that. I personally love all of these hobbies, and I hope you try the ones that resonate with you or that you could see helping you be happier and healthier, because I think that they can have a major impact. But if these are our only hobbies or the only way we spend our time outside of work, It's just more toxic productivity, where hobbies have to have an end goal in order to be worth your time. And that's kind of lost the plot of hobbies. So maybe this is the 10th hobby I'll share with you today, is just doing something with absolutely no end goal at all that may not explicitly make your life better, but will help you feel so much better in your life. Think of what you loved to do the most as a child. Did you love to play sports, or were you always writing stories, or did you love painting? This is probably a really good indication of what you need to do more of now. And the key is, don't put too much pressure on yourself to get better at it. Just enjoy the process of doing it. Remember the feeling of playing as a kid? When is the last time you've played? The definition of play is to engage in activity for enjoyment and recreation rather than a serious or practical purpose. So this bonus hobby, that is actually probably the most important one of all, is to play. Do something for the sake of enjoyment on a regular basis that has no serious or practical purpose, in whatever way that looks like to you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please let me know in the Spotify comments or leave me a 5-star review so I know what you want to see more of. I will see you back on Thursday for Ask the Everygirl, and have a wonderful week. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I know I sure did. Please do not forget to rate, review, and subscribe. It really makes a huge difference for our show so we can keep growing and bringing the content that you love. If you want more info, you can find us at the Everygirl Podcast on Instagram or at theeverygirlpodcast.com. Talk to you next week.